Guys, hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today's video is going to be all about what's in my van. Now, we've had lots of kids over the years, we've had lots of different kinds of vehicles over the years, and now we have the 15-passenger van. So in our van, we take out the back seat, and then we just have 3 bench seats in the front, so that gives us 11 seats in our van. And so our van right now, it is a dual-purpose van. It's not just the family vehicle, it's also the work vehicle. And so we do a sign business, so unfortunately, the only other vehicle that holds all of our big signs and all the big equipment we have to take when we go put some things up is my van. So I used to keep it super good just for me, but I've just over the years realized that okay, I need to be careful what I keep in here because it just gets used, it gets taken out, and no big deal. But it's not as like I should do a tour of my daughter's van. She's got the greatest minivan ever. She has nanny. She's a nanny, and so she has like great stuff packed in her car. I was like, that's an awesome setup there, Laura. And so, but I've just learned what's the minimum I need to take in my van, just in case we need it while we're. So the first thing I do when I go out, the first thing I always take with me is a water bottle. We don't go anywhere without our water bottles. That's just a staple that we, every time we leave, it's like grab your water bottle, grab your water bottle. Very rare that we do not grab it. I don't think there's never been a time we haven't. I don't even think, I'm thinking if we go to the park, we go anywhere, we always grab it unless we're just going to the library or something real quick. But we always take our water bottles with us. I use a stainless steel water bottle because it gets to be like 100 degrees here and it's pretty hot, and so it keeps my water cold. And then what I usually do when I go out is I take a water bottle with like my tea bag in it or something, and then I also take a cold coffee, and so that just like relieves the temptation to go out and buy something. So I always do that when I go out, is grab it, take my coffee and my cold water, and then that way I always have something fun to sip on, and I don't feel like, oh, I gotta get a coffee, because I could definitely want to get one of those every time I go out. And then I always keep a bottle of hand sanitizer in the front. So in our van, this is where we keep this. This is a staple every time we go out. As soon as we get in the car, we're like, clean hands, clean your hands. And so that's just something we do every single time we leave an area. The kids, it's just a mandatory, let's clean your hands. And so that's what we do. So that's always in there. We always pass back the hand cleaner. That's something we have. Some things that I keep like in the bottom dash of my van, and I also have a little container. It's kind of empty right now because my stuff's in the trunk, but this is what it looks like. This works really well for my purse to sit inside and it doesn't get lost because we have rubberized floor and no dirt gets in it, so I usually put my purse in here to keep it protected. And then I also keep, we've been taking the dog with us when we've been going out, and so she usually sits in here. I put her little blanket in here, and this is where she sits. She's like a great traveling puppy. So I keep this in my van. My brother gave me this. We go to the lake pretty much every day in the summer, and I always grab my phone. That's the only thing I take with me is my phone and my keys, and I leave my keys in my car because it's right there. But the phone I keep, and so I take it to the lake, but I always think it's going to get ruined, so I'm so afraid because I keep it in a Ziploc baggie. Well, my brother just gave me this, and so I'm going to keep this to keep my phone in. So when we go to the lake, I throw my phone in there, and the girls have theirs, and then it keeps it protected. It doesn't get sand in or anything, because I don't have a case for mine. It's just like the armor cover, whatever that little screen thing protector is. So this is good. So I usually keep this. This actually just goes underneath here. But that's an everyday thing I use. And then there was a game here the kids had. We keep cords in here for the phones just in case we happen to need it. Not usually. And then I always keep a container of wipes. These are almost gone in here. So that's something we have in the front. That's all I keep in the front of my van. The rest is in my trunk of my van. When we go out, usually if it's going to be somewhere quick, like if we're just going to go to the park, I might just have the kids grab their own water bottles and carry them. But if it's going to be hot, which it's starting to get pretty warm here, I'll just take our one small cooler with us, and we put all our water bottles in it and carry that with us. And that's just something we always do. If not, I put it in a bag, and I carry the bag, and all of them are in there together. That's just something we always have with us. What I'll also put in here soon, I don't have it in here right now, is another couple gallons of water. Just because you never know if you're going to be stuck outside or if you're going to need more water. Or we've been at the lake a few times, and then we came back and everybody's all dirty, and so it's nice to rinse their feet off with some fresh water. So I'll get a couple jugs of water and keep those in here. I usually do that through the summer, not too much through the winter. Through the winter I also keep like a blanket in here just in case we're stuck in the van, if we broke down or something. But it's usually not too long that we're, I don't usually go too many places far away. So that's something else we keep in here. If this was wintertime, what I do is we don't usually wear gloves and mittens outside because the kids don't go out and play when it's cold. So what we do is, but we will go to the park, and so it's not usually too freezing. Like they can usually wear their hoodie sweatshirt, but sometimes their hands are frozen playing. So I usually keep like a little bag full of mittens and gloves. That's where we wear. We would do when we have snow days, which we had snow a couple times this year, and the kids used their gloves like crazy, when they were going outside, and that was fun. But for the most part, we don't. So I usually keep them in a little bag and keep them in the van, and then that way we're always out. We're like, okay, let's go to the park, and it's not too bad. But then we're like, ooh, our hands are frozen, and so that's nice to have them right in the van to use them. So I will put those there when it's cold weather, but for now they're out. I also keep jumper cables. I keep those under my seat in case I need those. That's right there. And also, I also have, like, right under my seat is a little container of some supplies my husband told me to keep in there, and he told me to keep screwdrivers, duct tape, electrical tape, and a plastic trash bag, and a flashlight. I asked my husband, and he said, put those things in there. And so, we've never had to use them, but they're there if we need them. And then, like I said, we're not far. We don't usually go too far that we are having a massive emergency, and so somebody can come get us if we need that. And then I also keep things in the trunk. That's where I kind of move my stuff this year because it is summertime. So we do a lot of lake trips. Our van trunk, it is dirty. We use this like for everything. So our business uses it, so the ground gets dirty. That's okay. We go to the park, so I keep all the kids' scooters in here. We just fold them up. Everybody's got a scooter to ride. We've replaced them with bikes. There's like food everywhere. This is embarrassing, but that's okay. It's a lived-in van, and we clean it out once a week. It just hasn't gotten cleaned out. Probably not a good time to do a video, but hey, real life. So we keep our scooters in here because we go to the park usually to ride, and then we do go to the lake every day. So what I keep in here is my husband just bought me a nice chair for the lake for Mother's Day. So I have our chair. We've got our wagon here. We've got a boogie board for the beach water, and then we have our sport umbrella here. It's a big giant umbrella. That's something we keep all the time in here. It can fit on the side. I don't really want to keep it in my house because we have to take it out every day. So it stays here. We bring our inflatables with us when we go to the lake, and I'll do a video on that as well. We do inflatables and the pump and that kind of things, but this just stays in here as a staple. I kept this little container in here, and what I do, we keep these are like straw beach mats to lay on. I do keep a can of Fix-A-Flat in here. We have our snorkels and our goggles because that we use. There is some chalk. Oops. There's some chalk down here that we have. Here's a bag inside here, and this has extra outfit. I keep one extra outfit for the boys, one extra outfit for the girls. I make it big enough so that both the 4 little ones can have an extra outfit. So that's all I keep in here. And then we keep our sunscreen. We'll have we'll go through this through the summer. We'll use it all the time. So I keep our sunscreen in here, and then I keep there's goggles. There's a couple more of these. They're up in the front seat. I use them to put lettuce in. Instead of using buckets, like we do sand pails and buckets, and those are great for the beach, but they break so easy because they're just that like hard plastic. So what I found for beach is ice cream buckets. So every time we have these, so these are great. These will last us all summer. I did buy a couple of beach buckets because they had the shovels, and we didn't have any shovels. They will break right away. I guarantee you within a month they'll be broken, but these will last forever because they're softer. So we'll use these for the lake, for at the beach. So this is what we keep in our van at all times right now because we are at the beach every day. Like this will just be in here. I'll do another video where we pack up our van to go to the lake, and it's just, this will be already here, so I won't have to worry about grabbing this every single time. And then we do our scooters and that because we're riding those each day at the park. We used to keep food in our van, but now that it's getting warmer, I don't like to have snacks in the van because it gets so warm and they get yucky, so I don't keep those in here. But every time we go out, I grab something. That's just something that's given. Anytime we go for a ride, I grab snack mix, or I grab a bag of pretzels, or I grab some kind of crackers. Just something to have in case we were stuck in the van for a little bit of time. Like I said, we're not going to be stuck in the van for a long period of time. So, but we do take something with us, so that just helps. If we go for a long car ride, like exploring with my husband, we definitely take lots of snacks, so we have something with us. Now, we used to have a potty chair here. That was the best thing. I miss the potty chair. So when we had little ones and we were potty training them, or even when they were like preschool age, I mean, I use the potty chair. And so because when they're little, the last thing you want to do is take them to a bathroom and use the toilet. And so we use the potty chair for a long time. I just got rid of it a few years ago, about a year and a half ago, and I was like, ugh, I miss the potty chair. So, because we have to always stop and go potty. But most of my kids, all my kids now, they can pretty much hold it till we get to a place that they can use. But when they were little, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So that's something we don't have in here anymore, but we kept more clothes, that kind of thing, when they were little, and more snacks, because we never can have enough snacks. But now they're getting older where they don't require as much anymore. Another thing that we used to keep in our van, and I have it now with the buckets, is we used to keep vomit buckets in our van. And so that's because when we moved to the mountains, it was very twisty and turny, and so my children would get very car sick and they would throw up. So bad. So it was great to have a bucket just because you just never know. And so that's something that was a staple when we would go out, and I would just leave them in there. You kept the lid so you could cover it until you could dispose of it, and that works good. But I do have my buckets back there for sand, so I could if I use it, but not usually. If we're going to make a long car ride, that's when I go bring the vomit buckets. But we don't usually do too much exploring anymore. And so my son, we had 2 little kids, and we were driving up dropping off another child at a house, and they were like, "Oh, Mom, this is so pretty up here. It's so at the very top of the mountain." And so it was real steep inclines. And then as we were driving down, I just hear, "I don't feel good anymore." And then they threw up, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And so literally, it was real steep with the van incline, and so there was like vomit rolling up the front of the van. It was very gross. So I'm like, "Ugh, thank goodness for rubberized flooring, so I could hose that out of there." And so we usually keep the buckets in there for when those kind of trips, and so we don't have that issue anymore. So, okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. This was what's in my van, I guess I want to call it, and it's real life. It's dirty. It's messy because we have a lot of people, and it's impossible to keep clean. I would love to have just a mommy vehicle in time that would stay spotless, but again, it's life, and we use it, and it's used for business, and it's used for all the kids, and so it gets messy, but that happens. So okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.